Topping today's news, police investigating the death of a woman found at the rear of a residence off Lincoln Boulevard. Prime Minister Philip Davis heading home following surgery in the United States. The government considers another increase in minimum wage, and Bahamas Power and Light's public offering oversubscribed. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jarino Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News, and it is a pleasure to have you join us. Police are currently investigating the death of a woman found behind a residence off Homestead Street, which is a dead-end corner just off the western side of Lincoln Boulevard North. Chief Superintendent Dwight Smith, officer in charge of the Grove Police Station with responsibility for the area, shared what detectives have found early into their investigations.
Sometime around 11:30 this morning, police patrol received a call from a male who requested the assistance of EMS and also the police. They were responded to an area resident just off Homestead Street. On the arrival there, they met a female who appeared to have some injuries to the upper body. On EMS made a vital sign check of the female and find that she was unresponsive. At this time, police then requested the assistance of our investigators to come in. We spoke to a male who may be a relative of the lady, and he's assistant police at this particular time. There's a possibility there's a domestic, but we're still in the early stages of investigation, so we're unable to go so much into details with that.
Investigators were unable to say if the injuries sustained by the victim were stab wounds, gunshot wounds, or something else. They will have to wait for a medical report to make that determination. Meanwhile, relatives identified the victim as 43-year-old Theresa Knowles, pictured here. Although police cannot confirm, relatives are suggesting her death is a result of domestic violence. This incident follows the shooting death of a 21-year-old man on Eden Street off Farrington Road last Thursday. It brings the murder count for the year to 75. Again, there were 110 recorded murders in 2023. An update on the recovery efforts of the nation's chief executive officer, Prime Minister Philip Davis, following surgery just over a week ago to address compression of the sciatic nerve that was causing pain and discomfort in his legs, especially when standing. Today, First Lady Anne-Marie Davis gave reporters an update on the Prime Minister's recovery. She says he is doing well and will be home shortly.
Absolutely fantastic. He's walking around. He's walking faster than I can. As a matter of fact, he'll be home tomorrow. He is just amazing. He came through the surgery very well. It was very necessary. It was the last resort. He has recovered. He's about 99% there. He's doing extremely well. I'm very pleased. He couldn't travel, to sit straight and bumps in the ride. Everything had to heal. So he is really in top shape, and he'll be home shortly.
According to the First Lady, the Prime Minister is expected to get right back to work once he returns home. In his absence, Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper has been serving as acting Prime Minister, while the Minister of Education, Glenys Hannah Martin, is representing the Prime Minister at the ongoing CARICOM Heads of Government meeting in Grenada. There is lots of news on the labor front. First, public servants got their scheduled increment payments for the month of July, despite some hiccups, with some workers saying their pay was not accurate, and some public servants have been inadvertently excluded from receiving payments due to systemic issues. The Ministry of Labor and the Public Service is addressing those concerns, though. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Labor and Public Service is hosting a 3-day labor legislation symposium with the goal of upgrading labor laws and providing more avenues for employees and other public servants to voice their opinions.
In fact, on the 12th of July, we met with ILO senior economist and wage specialist, Mr. Patrick Belter, and some of you had the pleasure of being a part of that, especially our trade union congresses. You can rest assured that you will continue to be included in these discussions every step of the way. You have my commitment in that. And in that fact, the NTC will be in the driver's seat on this particular matter. Not only will you be included, but you will be informed, because I will make sure that it is not said that our stakeholders were not aware of our plans and were allowed to mistakenly believe that this increase is not a high priority for this government.
Also from the labor front, on Monday, the Minister of Labor and Public Service, Pia Glover-Roll, announced that the Davis administration is considering yet another minimum wage increase in the very near future. The minister was speaking at the Ministry of Labor and Public Service 3-day labor legislation symposium, where she said the government has had extensive discussions with the International Labor Organization, ILO, regarding the possible increase. The Davis administration improved minimum wage from $210 per week to $260 per week in January of 2023 after 8 years of no movement in minimum wage. Minister Glover-Roll also noted that she has been proactive and has reached out to President of the Bahamas Public Service Union, Kimsley Ferguson, to discuss outstanding issues, including salary increases for thousands of public servants. And finally, in this segment, despite the criticisms and pushback from within some circles regarding the government's plans to enter a 25-year contract to outsource the upgrade and management of the transmission and distribution networks of Bahamas Power and Light, Bahamian investors are showing great confidence in the government's decision. U.S.-based Pike Corporation, through its subsidiary Bahamian company Island Grid Solutions, saw its recent bond offering to raise $100 million for the project greatly oversubscribed during the 2-week window that closed on Friday past. Experts say Bahamians are motivated to invest because of the potential for a high rate of return and the fact that BPL has a monopoly here in the Bahamas when it comes to energy supply. Island Grid will use the $100 million to assist with what they call foundation upgrades to BPL's transmission and distribution networks that will cost approximately $130 million. You're listening to JCN News. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.